On today's show, what's wrong with the Bucks? Going downhill, the Bucks are breaking. Then we'll talk about the Suns moving up out of the play-in. What are the best matchups in the Western Conference in the first round? We'll talk about all that and more on today's Locked On NBA. Let's go.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome. You are locked on to the NBA. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of the Locked On Mavericks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show, making Locked On NBA your first listen today, where the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day on any podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, etc. Like the video on YouTube and comment anything below. Let me know in the comment section, what's your favorite Western Conference first round matchup that could happen, that's possible? Or also, let me know if it was Bucks versus Sixers in the first round, who would you pick? Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. And joining me, as always, on a Thursday, host of Locked On Bulls. What you got for me, Pat, the designer?
The Reinsdorfs hate us all, but especially us here in Chicago. Sorry, I had a rant on Locked On Bulls tonight, and I still haven't let it go.
He's carrying it over.
You want to know why? Because he owns two teams here, and both of them suck.
Listen to the new Locked On White Sox.
That poor bastard.
Today's show, we'll get into the Suns. They win and they get out of the play-in. We'll talk about the most fun West matchups in the first round that could happen now that the Suns are out of that. We'll also play Count It Up, where we count out the most interesting, fun things in the NBA, including 50 Flynn. Malachi Flynn, is he the most random player to ever have a 50-point game? We'll also talk about an owner rivalry, and we'll talk about some other things too and count it up. But let's start here, Pat. The Milwaukee Bucks of Milwaukee, formerly NBA champions, lost to the Memphis Grizzlies after losing to the Washington Wizards. They are right now 1-7 without Damian Lillard this season. They didn't have Damian Lillard, didn't have Chris Middleton. Patrick Beverley's still out with his self-reported injury. The Bucks allowed 76 points in the paint, the second most that they've allowed this season. They allowed like 84 to the Wizards earlier this year, which is insane. The Bucks also shot 18 of 44 from three, 40% in this one, and the Bucks still found a way to lose this game. What did you see from the Bucks in this game?
Listen, as somebody who has watched his team lose to the worst in the NBA multiple times, it looked unmotivated. It looked uninspired. It looked like basketball that you would not expect of a team that is that high up in the Eastern Conference. It looked like basketball of a team that you would expect to be competing in the play-in. It looks like a team, even without Damian Lillard being on the floor. I understand, right? You lost the major
not helping
piece.
their defense.
Exactly, and that was exactly where I was going with that. I understand you lost the major piece, but he's not helping you defensively. And on the other side of that, you look like a team that is poised to get beat by the Miami Heat again. And I don't think this is a great Miami Heat team here either, but you don't look like you're prepared for the playoff battle that is to come. And they haven't looked that way. I mean, you brought it up earlier. Since Doc talked to Joe Biden. like dog, like
the Milwaukee Bucks. We talked about this story. The Bucks are 3-5 since Doc Rivers met with Joe Biden.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And here's the thing, right? Sometimes you just have the talent. And this reminds me of, now the Bulls were in a very different situation, but this reminds me of the Chicago Bulls when they had Jimmy Butler leading the way and they were still able to get 45 to 46 wins. And you were like, competitive team, people aren't going to want to see them in the first round, but you know the matchup is at a certain point. LeBron James, are you competitive? Do you have talent that gets you to a certain point? 100%. But that's not going to get you to the point that Giannis said preseason if you don't get there as a failure. And that's championship. That Giannis said preseason, we all have to be pulling on the same end of the rope to get to this point. And that's a championship. That's why Damian Lillard is on your team. That's why all these changes were made. You didn't like Nick Nurse, or not Nick Nurse. You didn't like Mike Budenholzer being there. Same dude. You didn't like Mike Budenholzer being there. You didn't like, right, what was in place that got you to that point. And I'm fine with that because I've been the biggest guy to say, like I just said, same dude, Mike Budenholzer, Nick Nurse, they're guys with great players. But what you got on the other side doesn't look better. Even though you're the second team in the Eastern Conference, you look very beatable to most of the teams that I see that you may end up matching up against.
So beatable. And you look at this team right now, they would probably play the Sixers in the first round.
Yeah.
With Joel Embiid, with Tyrese Maxey, with all they've got going right now. Because the Sixers right now they're in the 8th seed, so they would play one game against the Pacers, and I think they'd win that game.
Oh, and then Pacers aren't playing defense. That's all you need to know.
They allow 120 points a game.
It's so bad. I watched them in person just stand there. I'm sorry. There's two sides to this court.
But right now, as the Bucks are playing right now, and yes, they didn't have Damian Lillard in this game, and without Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton and Patrick Beverley, like their depth just looks so shallow. They just do not have the extra guys to go out there and beat a team. And I asked the Locked On Grizzlies guys, and Michael Cole told me, the Bucks, they just rely on a couple of guys because their depth is so shallow right now. And he said the Grizzlies may be bad, but they have enough defenders to contain 2 players. It's like, you know what? That's true. And in a playoff series, a team's going to be able to contain 2 players. You think the Sixers are going to be able to contain 2 players, basically? And that's what it's going to come down to. And so if they can get healthy, then maybe I think it'd be a 7-game series, like pretty easily. Or the Sixers win a series right now, the way the Bucks are playing. They're 15-15 since Doc Rivers took over.
The tough part for me is there's still talent. The one thing that I did see tonight that I was like, okay, there's still something there, and you got to figure out a way to do it, because I feel like I think most fans were to the point with Brook Lopez where you were like, oh, it's over. He's on the back burner.
Jaren Jackson Jr. scored on him like 3 straight possessions in a row, just layups, just driving right at him and finishing left hand, right hand. Didn't really matter. Like if you had watched this game, there is no way you'd look at Brook Lopez and be like, that guy probably won a Defensive Player of the Year.
No. Defensively, I think he's past his prime. I think, he could still block shots, things like that. He's done. But I thought the offensive game was over with. I thought I was like the guy that used to be the 20 and 10 guy, that was the guy that always put the dagger in at the end of the day when you were like, okay, we got to contain Giannis. We got to make sure he doesn't get downhill. And then you kick it out to the corner and you look and go, oh, shoot.
The problem with
7-footer raining.
The problem with all this is he should be in the Porzingis role for the Celtics. Like he should be in that role where he's like the 4th guy or the 5th guy. And at their best, that's where he was. They had Drew, they had Chris Middleton, they had Giannis, like they had those guys. And then Brook could be the 4th guy. And now, like when Dame is out and Chris Middleton's in and out and all this kind of stuff, like it just really kind of exposes them. And then their depth their depth has been really bad. They started Jay Crowder, Malik Beasley, Pat Connaughton. All right. Bobby Portis comes off the bench. He had 19. He had 15 in the first half. So 4 in the second. AJ Green, not the NFL player. Danilo Gallinari, Ty Washington, Andre Jackson. Yeah, maybe the NFL player would be better. But yeah, their depth just really struggles. But they still, and Giannis was holding his hamstring in this game.
Yeah.
It was bothering him a little bit. Doc Rivers had a comment after the game that was like, all the medical staff told me he can keep playing, leave him in the game. But Doc Rivers said, I have eyes. I can see when he was struggling. But I mean, they went up with 7:50 to go in this game. They're playing the big lineup with Giannis, Brook, and Bobby Portis. They went up, and then Memphis just went on a huge run and went up by like 10 points to end the game and ended up winning this game. It's a very concerning effort from the Milwaukee Bucks, especially after we wouldn't point out this game if it was just a one-off, but it's because they just lost to the Wizards and they've lost 4 out of the last 5, and they're 15-15 since Doc Rivers took over. Like it's all those things combined.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Bucks to me are a huge question mark, and they have been all season. And listen, I also have to say this. we can blame all the other ones on Doc. This ain't on Doc. All of a sudden, there was this massive shift where you didn't want the guy that was in there, and Adrian Griffin, who made no sense to be hired in the first place. This ain't on Doc.
He was winning games.
I mean, I guess, like, but we all knew what the concerns were, right? Like, to me, this one is when you look at this team doesn't look like, name the player that looks like he wants to be in Milwaukee, not named Bobby Portis. That's how it looks to me. Like, literally watching it, I'm like, oh,
you know what? You know who that player is?
Who is
Thanasis?
No. Thanasis goes wherever Giannis goes.
He wants to be there.
Yeah, he wants to be wherever Giannis wants to be. I
good.
can't even say Giannis looks like he wants to be in Milwaukee right now based on the play that we've seen. Not to say he's played bad, but does it look inspired?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't know tonight how
he's
much
going through the motions.
I don't know how much of that tonight was injury and how much of that is this and all this weighing on him. Like we said, they're 1-7 right now without Damian Lillard this season. They allowed 76 points in the paint with Giannis, with Brook Lopez, both playing against the Grizzlies. I mean, we're talking about all this has to be like capped off with. We're talking about the Grizzlies. GJ Jackson had 15 points. Jared Jackson had 35. They started Trey Jamison.
Scottie Pippen.
Many of you listening think I just made up a name.
No, many of you listening think his name doesn't end in Y. It's a different kind of Trey.
Speaking of ending in Y, they started Scottie Pippen Jr.
Scottie Pippen Jr. You know what I mean? And when you're starting Scottie Pippen Jr. at this point, you know the trash talk is coming. Crazy. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to him for mentally being able to have handle that. But I know Bobby Portis was talking insane on the court.
Coming up, the Suns get a win. What are the most fun matchups in the Western Conference in the first round? We'll talk about some of those coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV. It's your destination for sports, live games, highlights, in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as if your TV is not smart, or if you don't like the interface your TV has. Like, I have a TV that has like a smart TV interface, and I just don't really like it. It's clunky. It's weird. You can get a Fire Stick that'll plug right into your TV, provides you access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV with all kinds of stuff, including us, the Locked On Sports Today channel. You could be watching us on there right now. Yeah, Locked On Sports Dallas, Locked On Sports LA, all kinds of channels like that. Go check it out. Go to Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. They have sticks. They have Amazon Fire Sticks for like $40. Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV to go and level up. And you can get these Fire TV channels that come with it. So if you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust us on this. Go to Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. Also brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds so you can get in on the action for the tournament as well as the NBA season winding down into the playoffs right now. So go check it out right now. New customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. $200 if you can bet on the tourney, the bet on MLB starting. You can bet on the White Sox if you
bastard.
Please gamble responsibly. The NBA, the NFL, the NHL with the Dallas Stars cruising right now. All kinds of great stuff. For the finals right now, Celtics plus 170, not great odds. Nuggets plus 350. A couple of them to look at. Mavs plus 2,500. Sixers plus 3,100. These are interesting. Heat plus 4,800. That one's insane. Go check out some of those. FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA, being part of the show, being in every day or listening every day. We appreciate everyone that's listening to us. We have a daily Locked On show that covers your team. Check the link in the description to find a show that covers your team every day. All right, Pat, let's talk about the Phoenix Suns. They get a win against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They go up, like 28 points?
That's not pretty.
28 points in this game, and then the Cavs ended up kind of coming back, and then in typical Wednesday night NBA fashion, they make it interesting late and they make us stay up.
Is this typical though? I feel like we've been getting toyed around with a little bit more the last few weeks here. Not gonna lie.
They cut it to like 11, and I texted Pat, and I was like, "Oh, here we go. The Cavs are coming back." The Cavs just didn't have it. Donovan Mitchell comes back after being out for an injury, but the Cavs played last night too. They shot 7 of 26 from 3. They just didn't really have the horses, and Speaking of horses, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant combined for 72 points. Booker has 40 on the backs of a 52-point performance against the Pelicans the other night. And now the Suns move out of the play. And what did you see from the Suns tonight?
I mean, listen, the Suns are a dangerous team, and you know what end they're dangerous on. It's the offensive end. And the reason I say this is because you look at what they were able to do in the first half of this game. 72 points in the first half of this game. They made 12 of their 18 three-pointers, absolutely dominating. Royce O'Neal. Sorry, I had to say that louder for the people that thought I was joking and talking about 2011 NBA here. Royce O'Neal went 4 for 4 from the three-point line. Devin Booker 3 for 5, 12 for 18 overall. And then here's what makes them interesting. The second half, and this has kind of been a theme for the Suns here, is we're still going to go out there. And you said what?
Royce O'Neal's rookie season was 2017. I don't know.
I don't care. He feels like an old player. I was just throwing a year out.
So much older than me.
I was just throwing a year out there. But no, my point in all of it is, right, you look at the second half of this with this Suns team, and I would not say it was a spectacular second half. I would not say that they went out and dominated. They finished with a -4 on their plus minus as a team overall. And guess what? The game did not end close. That's what is dangerous about this Suns team. They can break your will very, very early in games. And if you don't have the mindset that we can come back on these guys, there's going to be a lot of playoff series that if they get the right matchup, they can end you very early with how they put their foot on your throat offensively.
We've seen how this team can beat the Denver Nuggets and how they can beat better teams. And then they struggle at times when they just don't seem like they care. It was almost like a tale of two halves where the first half felt like they were locked in. And the second half, I felt like Doris Burke was scolding them on the broadcast. Like, you see these guys and they just don't look like they're locked in and really want to end this game. And you're like, okay, Doris, when Doris Burke goes off like that, it's almost like your mom is scolding you.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't do anything wrong.
It was just the second half was just do enough. It absolutely was.
That's right. And they did. And they got the win, and they did enough. They did just enough. The most fun West matchups, though, now that the Suns have moved into this standing. All right, I've got a couple options here. Can you tell me if you're in on this or if you tell me you're out? This would be fun or this would be so it's okay. Number 1 versus number 8. We could get Minnesota versus the Lakers. Anthony Edwards versus LeBron James.
I'm in.
Towns versus Anthony Davis, or Gobert versus Anthony Davis.
I don't care about any of that. You just said the matchup that matters most, because
that one could be fun.
Anthony Edwards is not shy. Anthony Edwards is not going to sit there and shy away from LeBron. Don't let Anthony Edwards get a game up or 2 games up, because the trash talk is going to be flowing. And because he's not worried about, I think that's the part about this. LeBron is amazing still. LeBron can still say, we talking? Oh, we talking? Okay, bet. Here I go. And Anthony Edwards is here for all of that. And that's why that would be a very, very interesting matchup to me. I'm so in on that.
That could be the 1-8. That could be the 2-7 as well, depending on where Minnesota and the Lakers finish in the play-in. Now, quick fun one. OKC could be number 2, and the Golden State Warriors could be 7. Like the young versus the old. You've got the Jalen Williams versus Draymond. You got a lot of stuff there. SGA versus Curry, like the passing of the torch.
I'm out. Let it
die. You don't like that one?
Let it die. Let this Warriors season for Draymond is not the Draymond of the past. It's not the Draymond we once knew, where he was able. Where he's able to motivate, where he's able to push guys through. Stephen Curry is trying to will his team, and people are sitting here looking at him going, why aren't you saying more to Draymond Green? Draymond Green's a grown man that punches people in the face. I wouldn't be saying more to him either. And all Steph is asking is just stop talking and let's play ball. Steph wants to hoop. Draymond's not looking to hoop. I think because of that, I'm out on this matchup. I think this matchup gets ugly. I think you may see, dare I say, the Golden State Warriors get swept. Get swept in a matchup like that. Steph can go as ballistic as he wants. There are 2 players right now in the NBA who are plus 110 steals, plus 110 blocks, plus 65 steals. One of them is Alex Caruso, which I talked about.
They would turn the mess over the Warriors.
The other one is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
Sweeping. I'm calling for a sweeping if we see this matchup.
I don't just hit people.
Dang.
Yeah.
Some other fun matchups in the first round. We could get Denver versus Phoenix. We just talked about it. That could be the 3-6 pretty easily.
I'm in.
That one could be fun. We've already seen Phoenix like really take it to Denver. We could also get number 3 Denver versus number 6 Dallas, which is Jokic versus Luka. It's pretty fun. Just the two of them, honestly.
I'm in.
Mavs beat Denver the last time they played.
That don't do nothing for me in the playoffs. I'm in though.
I would not like that as someone that covers the Mavs in the first round.
You'd be sweating the entire time.
As soon as the matchup was made, I'm like, dang it, here we go. Be feeling good about maybe anyone else.
It'd be like the Jordan Peele sweat with like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music.
Couple of 4 or 5 matchups. I mean, right now we're getting Clippers Mavs. The rematch from the bubble, and then give me that one. And Kawhi Leonard is out with knee soreness right now. Who knows what's going on with him? That one could be fun. We could also get 4 or 5 Clippers Suns. Loser has to rebuild their team. Loser goes home and their billionaire owner has to rebuild.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then real long shot. We could get 4 or 5. Mavs, Suns, first round.
4 or 5 Mavs, Suns, first round.
Clippers would have to absolutely implode, but
yeah, which it kind of looks very implodish. What we're seeing here down the stretch, but still, I don't know.
Mavs, Suns, the rematch of 2022. Oh, these teams don't like each other. Got the Luka special, all that. Maybe the Suns get revenge on that game 7.
But is it revenge at this point?
Chris Paul cuts the lead to 42.
You know what I mean? This is a very different team to me. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
Kyrie versus KD.
Here's the thing. I know that Luka's gonna bring up the lace front thing to Devin Booker, so I'm here for it.
Coming up, let's get into where we count out the most interesting, fun things in the NBA, including Malachi Flynn getting 50 points. Is he the most random player to get 50 points? And a rivalry that none of us saw coming. We'll talk about that and more coming up.
Yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. The offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRA and 401ks. 3% match required Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of the first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer. All right, Pat, it's that time of the week where we bring out the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. We call it Count It Up. And we like to eat. Count it up.
Big chicken, baby. Zion Williamson and porn star.
Take that for that.
Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up.
Malachi Flynn of the Detroit Pistons. Raise your hand at home if you knew Malachi Flynn played for the Detroit Pistons. Scores 50 points off the bench for the Pistons in a loss. His career high before this was what, Pat?
17.
27. He had 27 as a rookie for the Raptors. Okay, so
I remember him Raptors. Yeah, he had some games.
He got drafted by them. He played for 3 teams this season. He's played 17 games for the Pistons. He's also had 8 DNP CDs this season for the Pistons. So he's playing half the time basically.
Yeah.
It's the most random 50-point game this season by far. Here are the players that have 50-point games this season: Giannis, Booker, Brunson, Curry, Luka, Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Karl Anthony Towns, and your boy. Zach LaVine. No,
Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine.
I was
Zach
like,
LaVine.
you got a 50-point game? Zach
All right.
LaVine plays for the Bulls still? I forgot. Sorry.
My question is this the most random 50-point game of all time?
I'll go on.
My answer is yes.
Oof, no. That list, that was the people that have scored
We did
50.
Last time we did this list, remember I went through that long list?
Yeah.
That was 40. This is 50. This is different.
True.
From ESPN Stats and Info, Malachi Flynn has the lowest career scoring average of any player that has ever scored 50 points in a game. 5.2 points. Like, this probably raised his career scoring by like a point after tonight, right?
Right, exactly.
The next lowest, Terrence Ross, 7.4 career points per game.
Terrence Ross, maybe. And that was the one that I was thinking.
That one's
because
random.
I remember that.
But at least we'd seen Terrence Ross like what's Terrence Ross's?
50 was crazy though. Like
it was definitely crazy.
Even when he was, and this was it when he was in Toronto, he got a 50-point game.
Terrence Ross averaged 15 points 3 times in a season though. Like at least he showed. I know, but at least he showed like double digits. Malachi Flynn has not averaged more than 7 points a game in a season, and he had 8 DNP CDs for the Pistons this season.
Yeah.
If you're getting DNP, if you're getting like 1 to 2 ratio of playing time and DNP CDs for the Pistons right now, I mean, this is the most random. A couple other ones. Walt Wesley, he averaged 9.1 points. Tracy Murray averaged 9.9, and then Mavs legend Corey Brewer, 9.9 points.
I was gonna say Corey Brewer's another one on there.
Corey Brewer's a real random one.
I'll say this, and this will be the one that breaks the NBA.
Yeah, this
is the 50-point game.
This is a lot.
There was already a lot of 50-point games, but this will be the 50-point game that makes rules change next year.
Adam Silver walks up to the podium at the end of the season and goes, "You know what? Down with the 3-second rule." You know what?
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Hand checking's back. Hand checking's back.
Listen, as I sat there in Atlanta, and I sat there in Atlanta getting a haircut, and I saw Malachi Flynn go 18 of 25.
Getting a haircut.
They have barbers. Have you seen
I
the
know,
barbers?
but why is Adam Silver in on it?
He's gotta get up. Dude, Malachi Flynn, 50 points is absurd. This sport is not real.
No, yeah. There's going to be a major shift. I said shift in defenses next year. I guarantee that.
Speaking of unreal, there's a rivalry between 2 owners. If you've know anything about real estate, you may know about this rivalry between these two. Matt Ishbia of the Suns and Cavs owner Dan Gilbert. They have 2 warring real estate holding companies. I don't really care about all that stuff. But recently, Matt Ishbia's company got the one up on Dan Gilbert's company and rose above them and were like number 1 in whatever metric. I don't really care. Recently, Matt Ishbia's voicemail leaked to somebody in his company, and I'm going to do my best to read this this voicemail as best I can with our brand safe standards here at Locked On. We took these suckers down, and we're going to keep sticking it to them forever. Those guys, we're number 1. My God, that is Matt Ishbia talking about another NBA owner, Dan Gilbert. My question is, do you care or do you not care about owner rivalries between 2 teams?
I care about owner rivalries because that's where NBA rivalries come from. Why do we have Celtics and Lakers?
Got to start somewhere.
Why do we have, you know what I mean, like
Mavs Suns? We just talked about
Mavs Suns. Why do we have, you know what I mean, like I love this. Like make rivalries great again, because they're not entertaining. Here's the problem. Most of at least one side of the rivals suck right now. So like all these rivalries we grew up on, right? Bulls and Pistons. I'm sorry, I didn't want to see a tickle fight in the back room. I didn't know we were at Diddy's house with Meek Mill.
Hey yo.
But
no.
Yeah, I mean, no Diddy. But I like most of the rivalries have died to this point. But like, where did all of these start? It came from beef at the top that trickled down to the rest of the team. So I love it.
Suns took it to the Cavs tonight, so they definitely got the one. They got the one up in real estate apparently, and they got the one up in basketball as well too. So yeah, shout out to them.
Donovan Mitchell does not care about the beef. I can guarantee that.
Donovan Mitchell's like, I'm out. Hey, can I be out on this? Oh man.
On the team or on the beef? Like, I think Donovan Mitchell's just out.
You know what? Cleveland? I gotta leave the Cleve. All right, there you go. That's Locked On NBA. Let us know in the comment section on YouTube. What's your most fun Western Conference first round matchup? Let me know, who would you pick, Bucks or Sixers in a first round series too? I'm interested to hear about that. Go check out Locked On Bulls. Go check out Locked On Mavs. Go check out all of our Amazon Fire TV channels, Locked On Sports Today, all that stuff. Guys, thanks for listening to Locked On NBA. Bye-bye. Malachi Flynn.
No boom? I don't get a boom?
Oh, boom.
Yeah, it's too late. It's too late.